Hi guys, today we will be continuing our alternate future of Europe. And I think this is part 3. And today we'll see something happen in the Caucasus. What happens is Armenia declares war on Azerbaijan. Many nations don't like this. They push into this area, but they are supplied by the Russians. With their supplies from the Russians, well, they managed to make pushes in. They have loads of troops arranged on that border. The South Front is doing the best. But we have to remember, Azerbaijan's capital is over there. And we won't be able to have Battle of Baku. They push in. They eventually make it to the border. This is the time that Turkey gets involved. Who at this point, I believe they annex this. Well, Turkey's getting thick. But Turkey has gave justification for this, which really angers Russia. Armenia, using all of its resources up, manages to push all the way to the Black Sea. And then a big problem happens. They're completely out of resources on one front. Which, as I'm sure you know, many of the Armenian forces pull out into Russia. Turkey is mad at Russia. But they manage to push Armenia out, which leads to some troops being pulled back, being reorganized, allowing Azerbaijan to push them back. Azerbaijan makes it to here. Turkey's push into Armenia starts. Well, Armenia is quickly being pushed back. With so many forces, well, a stalemate is created, in which basically the war isn't going fast, but isn't going slow. So, with a war with the front not moving, eventually it comes to an end when Azerbaijan pushes forces into here. And they push across the north. They link up forces here. Yershkivsk is encircled. Yershkivsk falls. Armenia surrenders. In the treaty, Azerbaijan manages to annex these territories. In these territories, Turkey annexes the measly amount of territories here. Russia is mad. Turkey and Azerbaijan. But this is not the worst thing that's going to happen. Eventually, there will be a European war that will look in a few days. Or maybe this episode. Who knows? Well, something major happens now. Romania blames Hungary for infiltrating them, accusing Hungary of espionage. which Hungary says this is false. Well, Britain tells Romania to not invade. Well, England, because Britain, collapsed. With Britain not even having its capital. Look, London is independent. London is independent. Well, the Queen has all that land now. Romanian troops attack Hungarian troops. Which causes, Hungary to go to war. Slovakia, Czechia, Poland, and Lithuania. Bulgaria decides they'll join it. Romanian troops managed to push Hungary back. Romania is really strong still. And they managed to cut off all access to Russia. Well, these lands, after a referendum is held, decide to join Hungary. But Croatia decides to go to war with Romania. With this, Croatia manages to make a push. Hungary pushes back. And at this point, this is what the front lines look like. Bulgaria manages to push out. Many people. Romania unhappy. Croatia looks chunky. And Bulgaria pushes up the coast. A treaty is offered to Romania, but Romania refuses. Hungary pushes down towards its people in Romania. But the Carpathian Mountains slow them down, so they have to come through the spearhead to get around it. Well, Romania isn't in the Carpathian Mountains, so they're border with Bulgaria. They take Bucharest and push up. And they manage to take the coast. Romania surrenders. And while the Treaty of Sofia is signed, powers meet in Sofia and sign the treaty. These lands have a referendum in which all these lands want to join Hungary. A bunch of lands do stay. They take these lands. Hungary also takes these lands. Although the Hungarians only live in this part of it. And I think it's more like this. And not mostly Romanian, but a lot of Hungarians live in it. And then we have Bulgaria, who takes these lands. And these lands. The Central European Pact, which is the treaty there, invites Visegrad to join it, which Visegrad and them form one alliance. It's mainly aimed at stopping Russian aggression, British aggression, because of annexing Austria and what they did to Switzerland. After losing the war, pro-Russian rebels rise up in Romania. In these lands, declaring Romania to be illegitimate. Which is a threat to the Central European League. Some rebels here are pro-Hungarian, saying they'd rather be a part. They're Romanians, but they want to be a part of Hungary. And this is what they take over. And they push in. They get to Bucharest, encircle Bucharest. Well, they end up taking the city of Bucharest. Push in. And take the rest of the nation. Although these lands stand out. Now Russia has a new member. Have you noticed Russia is exploiting rebellions in this world? Romania thus becomes a Russian ally. Look at the Russian pact. Benelux decides to unite to form Benelux. United Kingdom of... No, they call it United Benelux. At this time, Czechoslovakia decides to exist, unifying. And a Neo-Polish Lithuania. Well, Russia only left that to protect them on this front, to get coast there. Well, Russia does want to expand more, but really can't. Well, there's other nations that could. Scotland. But the anti-Russian pact is also against Germany. Although the ironic part is some of their nations are expansionists. Like Britain, England was. Still is. After preparing, England launches an assault on London. Well, they push in. And they quickly take over the nation of England, of London. Many nations are starting to fear England, who's becoming expansionist. Belarus makes a very unfair claim that, these lands belong to Belarus. And this includes Vilnius, for those of you who are not aware. And they also claim these lands. Which thus begins a new border dispute. I think it would look better a different color. Like magnesium. No, that's a border dispute that started. The new Romanian government also claims a big chunk of land. They claim that this is the true borders of Romania. My colors are a bit messed up there. And, well, now there's some border disputes. Catalonia and Andorra decide to unite due to them having a pretty similar identity. The newly formed expansionist Serbian state joins it. Turkey decides, well, England's way is not as good as France, Germany, because France and Germany is stronger. And we know that the war is coming. But tensions are also at an all-time high. And since they are at an all-time high, well, many nations are becoming aggressive towards each other. After an attack by Kurdish forces on the Iraqi border, Turkey decides to take it into their own hands and they invade. Which they don't do anything to stop. They just tell them they're not sending aid because this is an aggressive war. And in the lands they are at war with are mostly these lands. But Iraq tells Turkey to withdraw or else they will be at war with Iraq. Turkey refuses. And with a nice technique, they start advances here. Advances here. These advances are pretty strong. Well, with them pushing in from many fronts, it's very hard to stop. And Iran is upset, which leads to Azerbaijan joining. Which quickly goes bad for Iran. Iran agrees to sign peace. Well, there's many reasons for this. A, in this scenario, well, they're not really fully in Europe, and we're only caring about Europe, nothing else. So if like 100% of your land is not in Europe, you're weak. Well, the strongest nation now is Russia, then France, then Germany, then England, then Spain. But many countries are expansionist. Like, look at Germany, expanded into Switzerland. Look at Turkey, they're expanding in this area. In Iraq. Well, Iraq eventually falls after Turkey makes it throughout the country. Turkey launches a coup against Lebanon with a pro-Turkish party. And, well, Lebanon now joins Turkey. Iran is also ally-less now. Well, after lots of the European area of Iran that's left in this scenario is very weak after this. And eventually, well, spoiler alert, collapses. So Turkey and Azerbaijan go in and eat land from it. Well, this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Alternate Future of Europe. And stay in tune for the next episode, part 4. And also stay in tune for part 8 of my Alternate Futures of the World series. I hope you enjoyed this video. And remember, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers. We're a quarter of the ways there. So tell everyone you know to subscribe to this channel, for it's the best mapping channel. And capybaras approve of it. And everybody does approve of it. And if you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe, leave comments on suggestions for this series. And please make sure you're subscribed, because I know 91% of you are not subscribed. 91% of you are not subscribed. So, if you want to help out, subscribe. Get your mama to subscribe. Get everyone you know to subscribe. Because subscribing is very important. And unlike good advice, I base my feelings off how many people subscribe. If you're mostly not subscribed, well, we're doing good. We're 75 subscribers away from, a big 100 special. We're 25 subscribers away from the next special. And once we get to 100 viewers, that'll be a big achievement. I hope you enjoyed this video. And this is it. Wild Mapper out.